Welcome to Unfiltered and Unstoppable with Rob Romesburg. Real strategies for real advisors, a podcast that dives into what it takes to scale a thriving financial practice. Each week, we'll discuss actionable strategies, tools, and insights to keep you ahead in today's financial landscape. From innovative products and powerful marketing tactics, you'll get unfiltered truth and unstoppable strategies. Let's get started by building your unstoppable financial practice today.
All right, folks, welcome to the show. Super glad to have everyone join us today. More specifically, my special guest today, Mr. David Johnson. David, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, totally my pleasure, man. I am pumped. David and I, we have worked together now since 2012, so 12 years. Time flies when you're having fun there, brother.
We're having fun. Absolutely.
So David is the director of our team that's called Case Central. And Case Central is a team of individuals. I believe we're over 20.
We're at about 20 right now.
Right about 20.
One short of 20.
Well, okay. All right.
We're heading toward 25. So we're going like this.
All right. Perfect. So the crew is made up of several different individuals with significant backgrounds in the financial industry. So we've got individuals that are securities licensed, securities registered with their Series 65. Several of them have their CFP, including yourself, I believe.
Correct.
So this is a group of individuals that have a great deal of education in the financial world. And the whole purpose of this group is to provide simple solutions for complex problems. And more specifically, provide solutions to clients for our financial advisors. And, really today, what we want to focus on and how we want to frame our conversation is how do we simplify complex situations? How do we simplify them? How do we personalize them? And how do we provide the end consumer of with tangible solutions? But before we actually do that, David, just kind of give us a little bit of your background. Like where did you come from? Like what?
Right.
Just give us an idea.
Right on. So I've been in the financial services world for a number of years, here with Gradient, specifically going on 13 years now here at Gradient.
Awesome.
Been with Case Central the whole time. Also do a little bit of producing myself. So I have two sides of it here, but it's been a great run. Since day one when I began in Case Central, there are two of us. And now, like you said, we're pushing 20, looking to grow this. And what we're seeing is just more and more agents, advisors catching on to this. And, our whole goal here is to help our agents, advisors, just free up time, not have to hire staff. We'll be your back office. And our ultimate goal is to help you close more business. And so I'm just part of the team, cog in the wheel, and we're excited to help you guys get this rolling.
I love it, man. Well, as the show was named, it's Unfiltered and Unstoppable, man. So I want to make sure that you are as unfiltered as you can be throughout this show, because we really want to show how you help the end consumer and at the same time leveraging the advisor throughout the whole process. So let's just dive into it here. How does Case Central as a whole transform complex planning into simple, actionable, deliverable for the advisor?
Right. Well, as agents, as advisors, you all know this, that no two prospects are exactly the same. No two clients are exactly the same. But one thing that can be the same for you over and over is your experience with Case Central and your process with Case Central. So when that prospect brings to you, and I describe it in different ways, maybe it's the garbage bag full of of documents or the shoebox full of information. You can choose to create the financial plan yourself with that information, but whether it's a more complicated case or a simple case, we organize it for you. And yeah, we take that data, make it look good for you, and then make it presentable using our different reports that we'll probably touch on here as we go along. But that's kind of the big picture. Should I get more specific, Rob? What else did you want to hear?
No, I think that's a great introduction to where we're going here. So along those same lines, when we're talking about data and things like that, how do these tools, how would it help an advisor really differentiate themselves from the competition for ultimately a positive client experience?
Right. Well, ultimately, and this might be part of our theme here, I think that every successful advisor has a process for most of the things that they do. And I tend to beat this drum pretty loud, just the importance of having a process, but just using us consistently, you'll become familiar with what our process looks like, and you'll know going into each and every meeting, and that's how you can leverage us, is you'll know going into each and every meeting what you can expect on these reports. You'll learn what you want to use, what you don't want to use, what page you want to go through, what pages to avoid for that particular prospect or client. But just using us in that way and leveraging some of the different services at Gradient, this being Case Central, I think will go a long ways just with simplifying your overall process and keep it going in the right direction.
Yeah. So you mentioned the reports. So the reports that you provide are proprietary, correct?
Correct. We own over a dozen proprietary reports that we're consistently, looking to improve, and yeah, that we maintain.
So let's kind of put yourself in the advisor's shoes.
Mhm.
Why is it important to be able to have access to proprietary reports? Why is that a big deal?
Well, nobody else in the industry has it. Call me biased, but as far as I know, there's no other team out there quite like Case Central, and nobody has these specific reports. And so the more that you learn about these reports, the better I think that you'll be able to use them in these face-to-face meetings. And I mean, it's a huge value add to your prospects. I mean, nobody else out there has reports quite like this.
Yeah, I can't tell you the number of times that I've heard an advisor when they're in front of a client talking about,
Mhm.
these reports, they are proprietary to me and my firm, and as I'm working with my team of CFPs, so it's just a wonderful way for the advisor to be able to leverage not only their expertise but the power that they have and the education that quite frankly you and your team provide them, right?
Right on. We get questions every day about, I mean, not just the reports, but
Yeah.
maybe it's Social Security or beneficiary IRA, RMDs, or whatever it is. So it's more than just the reports, as important as that is. But we help you in different ways.
And
Absolutely.
do you think that somehow relates to building a stronger trust with the client as well?
Well, I mean, speaking of trust, I mean, how I typically see it is that a prospect will work with you if they like you, trust you, and if they believe that you can help them. And I think some of these reports go a long ways in well, granted, typically by that second meeting when you're presenting Case Central reports, they probably already like you a little bit. They came back a second time, right? And their trust is growing. But wow, once you show them that you can help them using our reports, it kind of brings it full circle, and you have the trifecta of those three items. But so yes is my answer to that question. I think it will definitely help build up that trust level.
Yeah, right. And in regards to and you don't have to give away any industry secrets here or
Mm,
anything like that, but we've got a few of our tools like that found money tax report and the action plan. Generically speaking, how would those elevate the perceived value for an advisor?
right. Well, I think anytime that you're adding value besides perhaps slapping a product illustration down on the table,
Yeah,
okay? When you're showing the effort to understand what's most important to them, understanding their goals, trying to educate them using a found money tax report, um, I think that puts you a step above of many other advisors out there. You're not just trying to sell a product. You're trying to help them now, help them going forward by educating them. And so, yeah, these reports are an important part of that process.
for sure. So we talked a little bit about bringing on a new client.
Hmm.
So let's touch a little bit here about client retention.
Hmm.
Like, okay, so I brought this client on, and we've also talked a little bit about the competitive environment. That environment out there now is more competitive than ever
It's
to not only bring on a client, but to
but to keep
preserve the client.
them. Hmm.
So how would the case central planning process help with client retention?
Right. No, that this is a good one. And you know, so yeah, you're in a meeting with the prospect and they say, "Okay, I like you. I'll give you a piece of my overall business," referring to a prospect says to you that they'll give you a piece of their money. So so you say, "Great," you add a client, annual review season comes around, you can use our Compass report, for example, in the same way that you used it to initially gain a part of their business. You can pull that out, and I'll tell you what, I've noticed that myself with my own clients, but with other advisors out there, sometimes your new client will get used to, well, I want to see a Compass report. I mean, will that be there at the meeting? I want to see how I'm doing. And so you can use the Compass report time and time again to show the existing accounts that they have, the current accounts that you're not trying to move or are already with you. But on top of that, you can show a new proposal in there and show how that can benefit them going forward. It's so just using some of our tools to add more of that client, to continually add value over time with that client. Wow, I think that really adds to retention when you're continually adding value. And when you take that time to show them that kind of detail at the annual review, I think that also goes a long ways toward showing that, hey, you weren't a one and done advisor. You're there to help them ongoing.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And a lot of times I hear I'm a holistic advisor, which is phenomenal. Absolutely.
Mhm.
However, we have to be holistic with a personal and specific approach to the individual. And I think that's what you're touching on, if I'm hearing you correctly. So with the reports, they are very specific to the individual.
Mhm.
So when we are at review and we're having a conversation and we talk about in year 2 we're getting ready to trigger this income to fill this income gap, and now it's time to turn on your social security, and now we're able to supplement your social security maybe, and we're showing them specifically at these ages we are doing these things. So if for some reason a competitor were to come in, it would be very difficult for them to be able to disrupt that plan. Is that what I'm hearing?
Right. Well, and it's not just at that initial, and this kind of goes back to the previous topic. So you're showing them you've earned that business by creating a plan. Well, you're going to keep that business by continually going back to that plan that they agreed to last year
Yeah.
and 2 years ago and 3 years ago. And you can use our software to help do that. And then year by year in your annual reviews, you're solidifying that. I'm with you.
Yeah. The goal is that not only to provide a plan, but we need to make sure that the plan, as we've already said, is personal, very personable,
Mhm.
but also more specifically manageable for the client. Because the last thing that we want to do is come back with something so complex and overwhelming. And first of all, they say, I want to think about it," and you might ask the question, like, "Think about what?" And they might reply with, uh, "I don't know." Like, I don't know what you've even shown me here. Like,
Right.
what is this? And I would say, you know, what one of my favorite things about working with the Case Central team and the proprietary reports is that each of the reports are personal
Mm.
and manageable and easy for a client to be able to review on their own to understand what plan has been put together for them.
Mhm. Right.
Um, if you could maybe provide a generic example of how Case Central uh, can simplify a complicated plan into clear and
Right.
actionable steps.
Well, first, let me touch on, so you were talking about customization.
Yeah,
So not only are our reports, yes, of course, customizable to the client. I mean, the more information that you give to us, the more the better the output can be back to
yeah,
you.
yeah,
Okay. But yes, customized to that prospect and their specific situation, but also you as the advisor, you as the agent, you're submitting a case to us and we're having dialogue and we actually document what your preferences are.
yeah,
Okay. So that going forward, we have that connection. We know that, okay, you like to see this kind of an inflation hedge on the client income goal. You like to see these types of rates of return for annuities, life insurance, managed money buckets, whatever it may happen to be. So we have that customization piece in there. Now you went on to say, Rob, you're asking about how we can make something more complicated appear simple.
yeah,
So with that, I think a lot of that comes down to you as the advisor taking the time and working with us to understand the reports. And so that there's so much data, with the full plan, with the full fact finding process, there's so much data that comes in. Okay, so what do we do with that data? So yes, we have a whole bunch of different reports. We talk about our 5 core reports. Taking a look at the Compass report specifically. I bet that many of the listeners are familiar with the Compass report. So that's a report that could be 25 pages long. Do you ever walk somebody through a 25-page Compass? No, you don't. You as the advisor, and hey, take our lead on this, have a conversation with us and clarify. But you may only walk them through 2, 3, 4 pages of that 30 pages in that report. Of course, you have the engineer type, they want to peel back every layer and look under every rock, right? But um, you have the ability to also make that more complicated scenario more simple just by getting to the point as you're walking through these different reports. Perhaps it's focusing on the income forecast page in the Compass, the page that shows the overall income plan over the next 30 years or whatever the page might be. But you as the user, you'll develop the pages that you like in your mind and you'll focus on those. And that's one way that we can make planning simple, is just knowing what your prospects hot buttons are and focusing on those.
yeah. I love it. You know, you said something there, and I'm glad you brought this up. I think one of the greatest things that Case Central does, it really does simplify the process for the average client. However, it is also a wonderful, um, really, I would say, just a vault of information and presentation tools and data that is also available for the engineer.
It's there. It's
It's there. It's there. So that over the years, one of the things that I hear time and time again is, I I will never work with an engineer. I just can't do it. They ask too many questions. Well, you know what? Let's look at Case Central. And let's once again leverage Case Central and the strength and the education and the knowledge and the reports that is available through the Case Central team. I mean, how many times do you work with an engineer with the Case Central process?
It's pretty often. I
Yeah,
mean, we're and I'd say more people than not are not engineers or not that type.
sure.
They
Yeah,
need us to keep it simple. They need you as the advisor to keep it simple.
yeah.
But also be prepared for the whatever it is, the 10% of the time when you have someone that actually wants to go there. Well, why does it say this? Why does it say that? Where's that data come from? And so that the compass does provide that paper trail for those scenarios.
Hmm. One of the things that I want to touch on here is efficiency. And what I mean by that is, what one of my favorite things that I like to say about Case Central is that by working with Case Central, it will allow you to do things like spend more time prospecting, spend more time with your family, or spend more time on the golf course. So
Right.
gi- give us an idea of why do I say that? Like, how do you help the advisor have more time to be able to do
Right.
whatever it is they're looking for?
Well, one common theme here at Gradient is that we want to do the heavy lifting for you. We want to free you up to do more of what you want to do. Hopefully, that's always a value that we really shout about. In Case Central, I think is um, one of the catalysts when it comes to that. Um, and so, when you have that first meeting with the prospect, you've been there. Hey, it's a 4 o'clock meeting. You're finished at 5:30. You want to go home, but you have all these different things to do. Um, you can choose to take a couple hours yourself or whatever that time frame is and put that plan together or use the services that we have at your fingertips that you have at your fingertips and put us to work for you. Let us be that group that helps you. So when you submit the plan to us, we sort through the documents, we sort through the data, we are there to research and answer questions that you have about that scenario so that prior to that next meeting, and hey, we do always advise you to pull the case open, you know, before 10 minutes before the meeting, of course, but perhaps it might take you 20 minutes to familiarize yourself or whatever that time frame is, depending upon your knowledge of the software. But so that'll always be there. You always want to take what we give to you and prepare, but you're not taking 2 hours, you're not taking an hour. Hopefully it's a smaller period of time. Let us carry that weight and free you up. I mean, Rob, can I add anything else to that? Or I mean,
That'd be great. Yeah, please do.
well, I mean, so that there's the time side of it, but there's the money side of it too, um, as far as not having to hire staffing.
Yeah.
Okay. We will be your back office. That's part of our value add. And of course, a time will come when you're going to want to hire more. But in the meanwhile, when you're in that in between stage, for sure, we can definitely step up for you and help you from not having to hire somebody sooner than you actually need to, from that standpoint.
Yeah. So, what one of my favorite things is when I hear from an advisor that, by working with Case Central, it has saved me so much time. It has relieved me of so much stress. And honestly, it just made my life better. And we probably should have started with this, David. That's probably how we should have started. Looking back at it now, but just the amount of time and energy and stress that the Case Central team can relieve from an advisor's office, quite frankly, it's huge. And the average advisor uh, probably just doesn't. And I'll say this: when I first introduce Case Central to an advisor that's never had access to a team like this, that there is a struggle on their part. And that struggle is the fact that they've had control all of
Mhm.
these years, and I get to go line by line, and I get to specifically pick out this product, and I get to, however, at the same time, you are killing yourself. Right? You quite frankly are. And I always want to make this clear to my advisors that are coming in for the first time of when that client comes in with the shoebox full of statements that's been in the basement for 5 years or however long, and they dump it on your desk. The only thing that I want you to do at that point in time is
Mhm.
scan those documents in along with the fact finder and get them to Case Central and
Mhm.
let them take over from there.
Right. Right on. You know, integrating your process and the Case Central process together, like Rob is saying, I think is mission critical long term to your success. You have to have a process for your meetings, and so call me biased, but I'd say plug into our process.
And there you go. Like our founder Chuck Lucius has said for years and years, systems and processes can't be beat. We have seen over the last 5 years all kinds of just craziness in our world and how things have upended the financial industry. Well, for our advisors that have had their systems and processes in
Mhm.
place, that their business did not struggle. In fact, it increased significantly to
Mhm.
higher numbers than we could ever have imagined because they had their systems and processes in place. And because they had those in place, their current clients saw that and they received more referrals than they ever had received previously. And not only that, but their case sizes almost tripled because of these systems and processes like we're talking about right now. And
Right.
if you could just let the system work and you stay out of the way, it's unbelievable how much more efficient you become.
Right. Well, and Rob, for your agents, your advisors that like to be in control, I totally get it, and you can still be in control. Just let us do the heavy lifting. I mean, our software gives you the ability to take what we did, the detailed work that we did, and you can pull up the report, take a look at it, and say, okay, I want to change that and that. If you want to do that, well, hey, you can have us do it for you, of course. But if you want to get in there and kind of play around with it, hey, you can hit that copy button, make it your own, and make updates to your heart's content. Um, that's after letting us organize everything and put that initial plan draft together.
Uh, what does the Case Central team charge for their time?
We we do not charge a dime for that, Rob.
Okay. Well, you must charge for the software.
We don't charge a dime for that.
Okay. All
Mm.
right. So you're going to take all the work off the advisor's plate. There's no charge for your time. There's no charge for the reports. I mean, what's the catch? There's got to be a catch.
Um, no catch. I mean, that
Okay.
this system is here for you, Rob. The
Okay.
system is here for your agents to help them build their business.
Okay. So kind of back to your point as well of the fact that this is it's a very fluid process. Yet yes, you are uploading the documents, and yes, you're uploading the fact finder, and yes, Case Central is putting together the design. That design is based off of the advisor's initial direction, right? It's based off of the advisor's notes. And then after it's been created, it is a very fluid process of, hey, let's make sure, let's reallocate from A to B, and
Mhm.
let's increase to C, and let's trigger income at 77 as opposed to 75. And that whole process is done through your Case Central technology, right?
Right. And Rob, we see all kinds of different scenarios come through. Sometimes the advisor knows exactly what they want and they tell us.
Yeah.
Okay. And which is helpful to us. Like
Yeah.
we're all on the same page here. Then there's times when, they have all the data, they're actually not sure yet. Okay. Well, then we take the first crack at it as opposed to them taking the first crack at it. Okay. And then, like you said, Rob, then in certain situations, that's when we can make those fluid on the fly type changes to bring it to just the right point where you're ready to present it.
Well, DJ, it's already 30 minutes, man. Our time
Unbelievable.
flies on these things. It's
Unbelievable.
unbelievable. I just want to thank you so much for taking the time of hopping on here to be able to educate the advisors out there. And you know what, man, you're just a great joy to work with. You and your whole team. And I know that myself and my advisors, we all really appreciate that. And so the challenge that I have for those advisors that I currently work with that maybe for whatever reason have not taken the opportunity to work with Case Central is let's do it. Let's do it today. Quit messing around. Let's go. And for those that are listening that aren't affiliated with Gradient as of yet, give us a case. Like we're not going to charge you for the time. We want to show you what we could do. Give me a call, shoot me an email. We are more than happy to show you exactly what we could do. Ultimately, for the benefit of your client. That's what we're all here to do. DJ, anything that you'd like to add before we wrap this thing up?
Final words from me would be, hop into the Case Central dashboard, check out the sample case, check out the case planning documents. Those are 2 tabs on the left-hand side of the Case Central dashboard. It's a great place to start. But also, if you would like a personalized Case Central walkthrough, we take a half an hour with you or more, walk you through our full process, walk you through our 5 core reports and then some. Okay, please hit us up. Let us know.
Fantastic. Well, once again, DJ, thank you so much for your time, and for everyone listening. Appreciate you. And we look forward to getting back together for our Unfiltered and Unstoppable next week. Have a great day.